accounts have been closed because Deutsche Bank went down last March.
Well, that's what
So now, get this.
Deutsche Bank went
I look
down.
at the Austin because I got 5 more accounts on my deal.
Uh-huh.
And this place down in Austin, that account shows transfer. And I have a brand new one in Richardson, managed by an attorney firm less than 10 miles from the attorney.
Wow. So Deutsche Bank went down in March because it certainly wasn't on the news. They
Well,
covered it up, eh?
Well, Deutsche Bank, I got a letter from Deutsche Bank in 2000, and they were they purchased Bankers Trust Company.
Okay.
And you know, Bankers Trust companies are regulated by the FDIC, Federal Depository Insurance Corporation. But then they went from Deutsche Bank to UBS, United Bank of Switzerland. And so Obama has signed a tax treaty in 2009. So if you Google United States of America entered into a tax treaty with UBS in 2009, Obama and Tim Geithner signed off on it. And basically what they have been doing, they have been actually changing our registration statements and from your DBA, like your name, they would create a DBA and change your registration statements to those trust accounts. So they're running a trust system. You've seen a lot of people have been having problems with foreclosures. And I don't know if anybody familiar with this here, 43 trillion stolen from the American homeowners. And you look at this here, they have signed a receivership showing that they're supposed to return that money back to the U.S. Treasury. But who's the victims? The American people. They was the victim. And this is a case, they actually sued them in 2012, all the bankers. But you look what it says, major banks, government officials, and their Conrads, all of them are doing what you call racketeering, money laundering. And you see them when you read it, you're like, wait a minute, all your major banks, all of those guys. It's some things that I'm going to show you here that it's called a Form 56. It's an IRS form. That's a notice of fiduciary relationship. And you see up here, all this, your all caps. Your all caps are foreign. So our ID at all caps is foreign. And it's ran by our members.
Right.
Okay? And basically what happens, and so here with a fiduciary, it's your last name up in lowercase, and you become the fiduciary of the all caps. Then they have what you call a form, it's called an 8822B, where you need to change address or become the responsible party. Then think about what we've been doing. And then they have these two IRS forms. This is notice regarding substitution of party upon death of claimant. So in actuality, they have us as deceased. Okay? So, but what happens is, unless you become the responsible party and hold in due course, you don't have a chance. Because every time we sign our name, as we was trained how to write, we actually saying that we are an entity that has nothing to do with our rights. Yeah. Not only as an American, but as a God-given right. Wow. We have a God-given right, which goes back to Scripture, which goes back to, you know, and the people, I get so upset when people say, yes, Black Lives Matter, but all life matter, right?
Thank you.
You see what I'm saying? All life matter, so if they go back and look, you know, it was the lady, the white lady, Caucasian lady, who told him to get his knee off his neck. So yeah. Is it about color or is it about spirit? Yes, it's about spirit. Everybody got God's spirit, good people. Everybody got the God of this world spirit. I don't care what color. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. So, but the key is, truth is what liberates us and set us free. You know, you go back, how did they steal $43 trillion from the American homeowners? How did that happen? What were they doing that they was hiding it from us? That's the people. I had to, who's the lady? What was the lady I met here? The same lady, she called me yesterday. They finna evict the pastor. He had an agreement. And the judge said, okay, if you pay this here, pay it. He paid it. And he still went back and then came back and put a 24-hour notice on his door. You got 24 hours to move out. And she called me panicking, and I said, hey, go down there, show the agreement, tell the clerk you want a bill of review, which is an independent equitable action, and you had an agreement. So they set an emergency hearing at 10 o'clock this morning. They go in there, the judge saying, hey, are you going to rescind the judgment? The guy said, no, I ain't going to rescind the judgment. He said, well, I'm witness. You had an agreement before they came to court. You didn't tell the court about this, and I asked you if you did the agreement. There was no need to evict him. Guess what? He got the money, had an agreement, so the judge said no. He said, well, I want to, and then the next thing is, how do you put a 24 hours notice to execute a writ of execution, and they told her there was no writ?
Yeah.
So how do you execute a writ that don't exist? They just lied. So I said, now, they shut it down. I just got off the phone with it, shut it down. Then I said, sue them in the district state court. I'm going to tell you why, district state court. Do you understand every state has their own constitution?
Yeah.
Okay, so the history of that is, how did we become debtors in their eyes? George Washington whooped him twice. The problem is he ran out of money. So who did he borrow money from?
King
The
George.
Neverlands, the banksters, the J.P. Morgan, the Rockefellers, those guys.
Yeah.
And what did he put up for collateral? Our Social Security numbers. So we became debtors to the bankers. Bankers, the CPAs, and lawyers. They operate as under foreign authority agents. 2 months ago, I had a guy, he had to go before the judge. I told him what to say. He said, I said, don't talk about jurisdiction. Ask the judge. Judge wanted to, he said, what authority are you telling me to do anything? The judge just paused like a cobra. Didn't say nothing else. The judge gets up and goes to the chambers. You know why? The judge knew they were operating under foreign authority. The devil has authority.
Yeah.
So if you submit to the adversary, then he got jurisdictions, right?
Yeah.
Simple. So when I go back and see here that these guys, let's show you here, and this is years ago. That's why I knew about Deutsche Bank and Deutsche Bank and stuff. And you'll see here, IRS wrote this in 92 telling me taxpayer's name. That was my mom. She died when I was 9. But the taxpayer identification number is a 75 number. And I said, let me see the copy of the SS4, where they notified Social Security classified, and it was signed by Afra G. Green. Now, how did she, it gave the appearance she married this guy 13 years after her death. How did she do that?
That's a good question.
Very good question. But the IRS, the only reason why the IRS notified me is because I nailed them. They had cashed SEC. They filed a registration statement with the SEC, Security Exchange Commission. And they filed the registration statements, and who filed the registration statement was a profit-sharing trust. It's called an 017. All of our accounts are tied to trusts. So when they cashed the stock, it created a taxable event. They get to use that money tax-free and create money. So all of us has what you call, we are stockholders in the United States of America. And all the companies are major. 6 months you can work for a company, they can fire you, quit. They have opened up a profit-sharing trust on you. Profit sharing sits above salary and wages. There's no other substitute for any other benefit. And it allows them to use the money, not have to pay taxes, and grow the company. So you could be gone from that company 20 years. Guess what? Your money is still vested in the company. After 5 years, it became 100% vested. And so the SEC called me. Bankers Trust got fined $63.5 million. $3.5 million Bank of New York regulators. and the SEC fined them $60 million, but nobody went to jail. 1 count of conspiracy, 12 counts of falsifying book records, 12 counts of misapplication of bank funds. Then I had a CPA who I got. When I filed identity theft under her social, he created a 2848 power of attorney. But was it on me? No. It was on the 2 companies that she was supposed to be married to, but he used for his cell phone as a CPA, and then had me as administrator sole heir, the guy I didn't know, and the company that my mom didn't create 13 years after her death. You see what I'm saying? So what happened was, so once he did that, the state came back and revised my heirship and made me 100% owner of a guy I didn't know. But they didn't know where to go. They didn't know how to fix it. So he said, just make him the owner of the companies and all the identity theft and everything else, okay? Because they didn't know how to fix it. Then they came back, and the DA, the district attorney, ex-probate judge, attorney you used at the time, and a statutory retired probate judge came in and did a tribunal. And the only way you can do a tribunal, I don't know if you know what a tribunal is where you got 3 witnesses. Now, you know, you can have 2 witnesses by word of God. Who's that mentioned? Right, okay. And mention it. But they use the same thing. They have 3 witnesses. It don't even matter what the courts say. We can do the same thing. You have 2 witnesses at the bottom. They sign off on it in front of a notary. Period. So what has happened then, I even hunted down the guy, Alpha G. Green, and he did an affidavit. I had a notary follow me all the way to East Texas, and he said, I didn't know, he told his wife, bless his wife, because she's just sweet on him. He was 84 at the time. And he said, honey, I didn't know I had a black son. I said, I didn't know I had a white dad. You know, he's a character. He was a sweet guy, right? He didn't have nothing to do with this. But they used his DBA and attached 2 DBAs together, and he was using his employer ID number for reporting reasons. Ain't that something? And then nobody was filing any 1040s for her or anything of that nature. We don't understand. You have to close the accounting out. That's why you experiencing what you experience. Who teaches us how to close out a Social Security number? Have you ever heard of that?
No.
No. The Social Security, if somebody's sending you Social Security checks, that means somebody's administering that account. Then when somebody dies, oh, okay. But you never know how to close that Social Security number.
See, now, I did an investigation because I found my dad died in 1995, so I went in there on that same thing, and I had like 390 last summer. He had like 1,450 accounts under him. I never closed an account on.
Never close it out.
So I go in my jewelry box and I found this little tin plate. This is from my grandfather that died in 1943.
You found what now? What was
His
that?
Social Security
Social
number.
Security number. Yes.
1943 he died. Paid 10 years into it. He had 2,800 companies trading under his account. And the thing that bothers me about this is they've stolen the family wealth from us by doing this.
Yes.
Because we should have been able to have this handed down to us in a proper form.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And they've literally stolen our wealth. And
They've
I think
stolen
that's what's happening right now with.
Well, they getting ready to do a lot of transitions. I don't know if y'all know about the deniers, you know, all that there. They getting ready to, because they don't have the credit. They don't have, all that has to be credited back to the U.S. Treasury. The question is, how were these guys allowed, just in this example, how were they allowed to extort a money launderer, a racketeer, $43 trillion from the American homeowners? How could that happen? That means this is something they've been doing continuously for a long time, okay? A lot of times, once I go back and tell them how to shut it down, then I go back and I hit the judge in his chambers that you're operating as a foreign agent, and how we're going to sell this private and confidential. Because the biggest fear is what? Exposure.
Exposure, yeah.
So you hit them what they fear the most.
Now, do you have to sign an NDA when you do get a settlement on it?
No. Here's the key is, if the settlement is an agreement, it's implied, tacit law, et cetera, et cetera. The bottom line is you never ask for money. You ask for credit. Remember, there's no real constitutional money. If you look at your Federal Reserve note, this is
That's
a
a loan.
note that's used for legal tender, both public and what? Private. The question is, people really don't know what's private. Most of the people don't understand the private side. The private side falls under the Privacy Act of 1974, Disclosure Rules of 1974, ERISA of 1974, Employee Benefits Security Administration, and the Bank Secrecy Act. And those went in place. They passed the law in 74. Department of Labor became the fiduciaries. The PBG, Pension Benefits Guarantee Corporations, became the guarantee. Always an insurance company, because you're dealing with commerce, debts and credits. And then the IRS became the reporting agencies. And they created what you call the 5500 family. Then they created the VIVA. Now, they didn't actually execute the ERISA trusts until January of 1980. Then they had to create a third-party administrator, which is VIVAs. VIVAs are called Voluntary Employee Beneficiary Associations. They became the third-party administrators. And once they created the VIVAs started creating subsidiaries. Subsidiary, what I mean by subsidiary? DBAs. Where did the DBAs come from? Your social is, everything has to be tied to a social. A foreign agent cannot make a claim through a DBA. It has to be tied to a social.
And
That's the reason why they have to leave it open.
And that's why under that account I have Japan,
Yes.
Netherlands,
Yes.
Switzerland,
They all operate in
Sweden, Germany.
Germany. Right now,
Ukraine.
if you Google, there's
They're from
100.
everywhere.
There's 73 bankers have come up dead with UBS, United Bank of Switzerland. It says its owner is Rothschild, which is worth $300 trillion. The IRS works for the banksters. They hired them in 1919. They're a bookkeeping and accounting firm.
Based
That's
in
what
Puerto Rico.
Huh?
Are they based in Puerto Rico?
Yeah, well, Puerto Rico, yeah. Puerto Rico go on, but most people don't understand. When you Google what's the difference in the United States of America and the United States, it's a difference. Okay? And well, we don't understand, as a United States entity, you're trained to write your name up in lowercase when you sign, right? You're signing as a United States of the District of Columbia entity that's owned, copyrighted, and trademarked under the Constitution of the District of Columbia, 1786, enacted in 1787. Now, the Declaration of Independence, 1776, was passed in Philadelphia. 1776, along with the original Constitution, 1776, enacted in 1777. They gave rights to men, not to persons. It says that. And then those men got together in 76 and created the District of Columbia. See that? Then you got the all caps.
Yeah.
That's 1886, 100 years later, enacted in 1887, which is copyrighted, owned, and trademarked by the British government. That's why we have the royal family, Queen Elizabeth. Okay? And we accept that. Okay? So, why? Because they run our country. Attorneys or bar members, British Accreditation Registry. They're registered agents of the British government. Their allegiance is to the British.
Foreign agents.
Foreign agents. That's it. So Scripture do say, be wise as a serpent, but meek and harmless as a what? Dove. Okay? So I always ask the question, what keeps us so separated? Truth brings unity, a lie brings what? division all day long. Okay? And who divides and conquers? The adversary. Who's the author of confusion? The adversary. Okay, so he loves to put a camouflage in front of you so you don't understand that it's a spiritual fight. You know, we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against spiritual principalities and high what? Wicked. See what I'm saying? Lean not to the own understanding, but trust in the more than knowledge in all our ways so he can direct your path. He wants to always have, you got eyes but you can't see. I got ears but I can't hear. But I know I'm affected by what you're doing. You know what I'm saying? It's called like, so I hear people, just like I heard a while ago, they said, well, they know the private side of that. I said, let me ask you one question. I said, the lady I just helped, I said, how many have she done? How many private accounts has she gotten to? She said, none. I said, okay. My point is this here. What is the bottom line? Have you hit the bottom line? Are you getting the results that you're looking for? That's a yes or no. And the question is, I hear a lot, I see a lot, but I don't understand when you don't have the results that you're looking for. You know, I know 1 + 1 equals what? 2. I know 1 + 1 does not equal 3, 4, 5. It's just not going to be there.
That's what they want you to believe.
Okay, so I asked the question. Then she came back and told me that the lady who wants to get to a private account, she's losing her house too. And I said, okay, you don't have the time to waste. We don't have the time to waste. Right now, there's some things that are coming to the head. I've got friends of mine who have been discharged in debt for 10 years, but it's certain things that they didn't know how to do, and I told them, notify this person, that person, and they discharged it. I've got letters from the PBG, Pension Benefits here in Georgia. I've got letters from Scott Apple with Employee Benefits Security Administrator with the Department of Labor, and he made a good point. He said, Mr. Groves, he said the agency, watch this here, the agencies don't even talk to each other. He said, if you hadn't connected the dots and showed well, we wouldn't know what they was doing. And that's by design. They don't want them to see the big picture. But I hit all the agencies, and who wasn't know when I found out, they was complicit. And I was told by vice statistics in Austin, and their inspector general, and their attorney, he said, Mr. Groves, we've been having internal fraud. I said, okay, what they got to do with me? Mr. Groves, they've been buying these birth certificates at $8,000 to $30,000 a pop. What? I said, well, I'm going to ask you again, what they got to do with me? Well, Mr. Groves, we got to take the birth certificate, the death certificate, and see, they got to collapse the two instruments together. Now, why would you buy the birth certificate? So you can run those DBAs from that account. If you clap it with the death certificate, everything stops. It closes it out. And seeing you have
So where does all that money go?
No, they operate through trust. Trust, I don't know if you ever heard of Grey Pool. They do the hedge funds of the trust. Those trusts have trillions and trillions and trillions that the American people don't have a clue. A trust is actually, it's like a person. Well, where's the money? It's being held in a trust account.
Is
Now,
it possible to get that?
well,
Family?
no,
It does.
it goes back to database, your registration statements. The only reason why you are now seeing all these accounts, but you can't touch it because they've changed your registration. I'll give you an example. If somebody changed your registration to your car, and your car driving license go through a tollway, where they gonna send the ticket in? Whatever is registered on that the license plate, it won't come to you. It's gonna go to its registration that's on that license plate. Same thing. The reason why you're not getting any accountings or anything, because the registration's been changed and the address has been changed. And that's where it says change of address and responsible party.
How do you find the registration, the right registration?
Well, again, you fill out your forms. You fill out your forms, and you become a fiduciary. Now you
What
can.
was the name of that form again?
This is called an 8822B.
Okay. And then what was the other form?
The other is Form 56.
And then there was another
And then this one is a Social Security form. It's called a HA 539. They created this form in 2015. And this is notice regarding substitution of party upon death of claimant. Now, anytime you see all caps, that means it's owned, copyrighted, and trademarked by the British government. You know, all time. Anytime you address with your name, you always say you're the responsible party holding due course. Even with the police, I am the responsible party holding due course. You're not saying you are that fiction that has no rights. The minute you acknowledge that name is the minute that you are given it. I can give you an idea of what I carry, but I'm not that entity. See what I'm saying? I'm the responsible party and holder in due course. See the difference? I'm the fiduciary.
Would a cop even know that thing?
Huh?
Does a cop even know what that means?
He works for a private corporation. That's why I say I understand you work for a private corporation. That's why they don't like to show you their ID. No, I work for the police. No, man, I want to know who am I talking to.
Can you ask her to ask?
Oh yeah, with all due respect. I want to know who I'm talking to. I need to see your ID. I work for the no, I didn't ask you that. With all due respect. You want to call your supervisor, call your supervisor. I know you work for a corporation. Period. I'm not here to disrespect you. Just because I got truth doesn't give me the right to disrespect another human being. See the difference? So I'm going to come to you with an understanding to the fact that I am the holder, responsible party, and holding due course. The last lawsuits I filed, I don't sign as pro se for somebody. It says responsible party, holding due course, comma, and they sign it. They don't say pro se. They don't say I got an attorney. You know, you say that, you just won the fight. They just changed your status. Either you got an attorney and you turn all of your rights over, you waived all your rights by giving it to a foreign agent. He can do what he wanted to. Give you an example. I had an auntie, uncle died, and they didn't want to pay her insurance money. She called an attorney. The attorney said, bring me $1,000 and I want 33 and 40%. So she called me. I said, I'll be over there in a minute. And I called the insurance company. I said, I need a claim form. He sent a claim form. You fill it out, attach a copy of the policy, send it in. I said, you ought to have a check in 30 days. 31 days. She called me, honey, I ain't got a check yet. I said, well, hold up. So I called the insurance company. I said, listen, y'all got a check in our hand in 72 hours. I'm going to file a claim against your license with the State Board of Insurance. They had a check in her hand in 2 days, plus interest from the time she filed the claim. Now look what the attorney would have done. He'd have took her $1,000, 33 and 30 or 40%. He'd have lied to her for 2 to 3 years. And every time she checked on her case, he'd have charged her. At the end of 2 or 3 years, and he already filed a claim. It's in escrow. In 2 or 3 years, he's going to keep all the interest on the money, take his 33 or 40%, take out all the money he charged her for checking on her own account, and give her the difference. That's how they operate. So my question is here. If I have a problem with someone, I want to know who your bonding company. The attorneys. You use your license under the bar association is the bonding company, but it's the bar that regulates them. So the Texas bar is not the association, just like the police. You got the police, Department of Police, but you got their association. Your association and the Department of Police are separate. But yet, the only way to be a part of the association, you have to be a police officer. See there? The difference. So the Texas bar, what I'm saying, Texas British Accreditation Registry, they have associations when they are attorneys or private members. See there? They're not the bar. They just private, they hold a membership with the bar.
Right.
That's it. So when I file a claim against an attorney, I don't submit to the bar to make a complaint. I file a claim against the bar because that's your boy. He don't represent me. His allegiance is to you, not to me. And he don't use the law to benefit me. He used the law to benefit them. See the difference? He'll lie to me. He'll do. I said, wait a minute. Here's the procedures. Let's say this here. I'll be with you. This is this here. This is what you should have did, and this is what you did. It don't line up. So so when I file a claim that they're out of compliance. See the difference? Mm-hmm. The question is, why are you not following compliance when it comes to the law for me to get my relief? See the difference? That's it. I'm sorry.
That's okay. If a case has been closed and something is fishy about the whole deal, anyway, my sister's husband got in an accident. This man was at fault. They said they couldn't sue him because he was an older guy and he had a home and he was too old to sue. So they got a lawyer and all they got was $50,000. He has insurance, hospital bills. The lawyers got about $300,000, but all they got was $50,000.
What
That's
you
all
do?
they got. Can you reopen a case like that?
Yeah, it's called a bill of review. I sued the state of Texas, and I sued. It's called a bill of review. It's called an independent equitable action based on fraud.
And we can reopen.
Oh yeah, bill of review can be done. You do a review on the case, and you support it with an affidavit of fact that's been executed and witnessed by independent notary sitting in it for the state of Texas. And then you confirm it with an oath. Ask us the now people understand affidavits. You got different types of affidavits. You have an affidavit of fact, you have affidavits of oath, and you have confirmation affidavits to confirm it. You know, like God gave us His word and He confirmed it with an oath. So when you do an affidavit oath, it says, before me the undersigned authority. Most people understand the undersigned authority for the affiant is the notary. The notary is bonded with the state to exercise the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So it said, before me the undersigned authority said that the affiant came forward and stated that, hey, my name is Samuel Grossman, I'm executing this affidavit to establish the facts about this particular matter as it relates to my estate. And then you state your facts. It's notarized. Then you confirm it as your up and lower case as a U.S. citizen in the District of Columbia. And then you confirm it that the affidavit of oath as you as an affiant is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. Now, you take that affidavit, certified return receipts mail, and put the certified number on the document. It becomes a binding contract. Guess who becomes your process server? The postal master. He becomes the witness of process service. I've seen two attorneys go in court. The lady attorney didn't have a clue. And the judge, I knew the judge, and the judge was trying to help her. And the attorney had already served her outside the court, so she was already in default. So when he came to court, he just filed for a summary judgment. And so the judge, she didn't have a clue what was going on, and she was in a wheelchair. And the judge at the time, she was, I knew the judge, and she was trying to, Ms. McFarland, she was trying to help her. And the attorney said, "Oh, you're not going to sign my order? Here's my green card." And the judge, and she had to go inside because he was going to tell it on her. I've had judges tell me, Sam, you know my hands are tied. I said, I know. So I started doing things like I would file a suit on the civil side and ask the judge to sign an order for a criminal investigation. Guess what would happen? The judge becomes the seller. Because before that judge signed an order for a criminal investigation and incriminate herself, guess what would happen? She gonna settle the case. I've had the DA, the Attorney General, the child agency. It's the mother whooped the daughter, 15, skipping school with a 21-year-old, and she whooped her butt, and you know, she went to school, and I guess, you know, she light skinned, she had a little bit up here right here, and the teacher, and she was talking to her. He said, what happened to you? Oh, my mom whooped me. They called the police. Put the mama in jail. Mama bonded out, came over, it's 98, and said, could you help me? I said, if you got the truth. So what happened is they took the daughter and bucked us home, and then started trying to drug the daughter with depressants. And she told her mama, Mama said, don't take these pills. She said, they said, if you don't take these, she told her mama said, don't take these pills. And they said, if you don't take them, we're gonna put you in a straitjacket, and you ain't gonna never see your mom and daddy no more. And that's what they did. They put her in a straitjacket and took her to Arlington from Buckner's home, from Route 12. So the little girl was fighting. You know, I guess the older girl, she 15, they 16, 17. They kept trying to mess with her, and she was knocking them out. And CPS called, said, we can't keep your dog from fighting. That little girl had some hands, because she said, Mama, she said, let me talk to her. She said, Mama, I'm just protecting myself. They messing with me. And I'm just fighting back. I'm self-defense. So it rained one rainy, stormy night. The little girl ran away. And the mama called me. I said, well, go pick her up. I'll be over in the morning to do an affidavit. So I went over that morning and after that, I said, then you got to turn in because they'll say you kidnapped. For 3 days, we had to go to court. Went to court. While they upstairs, I'm filing. So you had the assistant DA, you had the CPS lady, the lady I was helping, client, the little girl's dad, the little girl's stepmother, and the Attorney General, 6. So I found something in the motion affidavit and an order. I filed in there and come out and let them see this, and they read it, and, they wanted to know who I was. I said, I'm a friend. And I sit on the back seat bench, and the judge, she looked like that, and I don't think I had my glasses on. I looked like this, and she ran back, so the judge gets up and go in the chambers. So the DA gets up, she go take the file off the porch, go back there, come back, put the file back up there, came back, sit down, the judge told them all to come up. So he told the district attorney, the lady, CPS, the lady I'm helping, the girl, the dad, her stepmother, and the Attorney General. The Attorney General didn't see the papers. So when they got up there, she said, y'all come on up. We came up. She said, ma'am, go get your daughter. And so the Attorney General was in the city paper said, no, they owe us $750. See, commerce. They owe us $750. She said, they don't owe us nothing. Ma'am, go get your daughter. Dismiss. So when they dismissed, I said, well, she ain't signed the order, so she go get your daughter. So I told her what to say. She said, Judge, with all due respect, I'll post the bench. She said, yeah, come on. She said, Judge, you didn't sign my order, so I can go get my daughter. Judge said, come here. I gave you everything you asked for in that affidavit. If I sign that order, I incriminate myself. When she went to go get her daughter, they just let her go. Didn't sign nothing. Not nothing. Just let her go. They act like she was never in there. That's why I say it's about the bottom line results. And then she had to go to court on the criminal side 2 months later. So I go up there with her. So the DA come out. Will she pay $280 and take 6 months of anger management? I said, no. You're the investigator. You tell she's telling the truth. She ain't taking nothing. Matter of fact, that's an admission of guilt. So he go back. He come back. It's been dismissed. See that? Never signed nothing. Never done nothing. I'm going to keep out of jail. They don't even. They said, man, they open their hand. I said, you said, no, they ain't have me sign nothing. They just opened the door, let me out. The reason why is what I used to do, and they changed the game. Anytime somebody was in jail, I go ask for go look at the file and look for the affidavit. Whether the police had to do an affidavit or the FBI, Secret Services, somebody had to have an affidavit. 2, there has to be an injured party. 2, there has to be an accused. Now, if there's an injured party, it had to be an affidavit. Now, if you didn't get a chance to challenge that affidavit, that's a violation of constitutional right. So I filed an application to set aside the indictment and to do the violation of the Constitution. Guess what they do? They dismiss the indictment, and then when they turn over to the corporate side of the court, guess what they do? They non-suit it. Because once you cut the legs out from up under it, they don't have nothing to stand on. Most people in jail today have not committed a crime. The only real crime is physical. And you can get away with that if you've acted in self-defense. Anything else, how do you make a traffic ticket a criminal offense?
My brother has been on probation for about 20 years. He's not supposed to leave. My sister had to take responsibility for him, so his address is at her house. He can't go anywhere else without registering. So he goes somewhere else, but he has to stay registered to her.
Something else I met here, they had to, he got, his son went in 3 years ago, they had ankle brace, he took it off, and they had to do an agreement. But this is what they told him. The attorney said, wrote down, if you don't take these 3 years, you're going to get 35. Fraud all day long. Now, they took the ankle brace off last week, but they want them to come out and take a polygraph because he was at the end of his sentence and want to take a polygraph. No, we're not taking a polygraph. What? Now, I told them, I said, ask them to show me the contract that you had to tell a polygraph. They never could produce it.
Now, can we straighten that out for my brother?
Oh, yeah, look here. And they're going to do it private confidential. And this is another, I have stamps that say private confidential. The reason why I say private confidential, they willing to play ball with you because they are never going to admit to guilt. They are never admitting to fraud. You just see the evidence because they don't want to deal with you anymore. When you put them on notice, private company, now I understand you're operating in a foreign capacity, foreign authority, and you need to get this resolved. And I have an affidavit, and so I'm asking you up front before I deal with this as a responsible party and hold it due course. See the difference? They're going to unball their fists every time.
The people just don't know. People just don't know.
My people are destroyed for lack of what?
Knowledge.
Knowledge, Hosea 4 and 6. And in that verse it says why? Hosea 4 and 6. It says why? Because they have rejected knowledge and don't forget their lineage. So knowledge, and the beautiful thing I like too, is when God asked Solomon, I give you anything on this earth, you just tell me what you want. He didn't ask for money, he didn't ask for fame, he didn't ask for revenge of his enemies, he just asked for wisdom and knowledge, and God granted him wealth. You want to be granted wealth so you can be a good what? Steward. And don't be a victim to the adversary. That's why I say 95% of the people who win the lottery that thought money would take care of all their problems, within 3 years they were either dead or dead broke or worse in shape than they was at first. That's not saying the 5%ers, but the 5%ers evidently had to understand certain principles that apply, and they don't even want to be bothered. They don't tell nobody I got nothing about here, okay? They don't need the hype, okay? But you want to be a good steward, and you want to be able to apply those principles that are Bible-based that would guarantee you your success. Yes, sir.
Why did Solomon ask for wisdom?
Well, Solomon asked for wisdom and knowledge to help God's people. And because he didn't ask for money and those other things, God granted him wealth because he could be a good steward. Go ahead.
How did he know to ask for wisdom?
Well, the beautiful thing, that's a good question, but the beautiful thing, I can say this here, I can make a good explanation, but go ahead.
I'll tell you.
Go ahead.
He had 3 teachers. Proverbs 1 through 8, he had 3 teachers, and they all told him when he was a child to ask for wisdom.
See there? That's
We
good.
need to tell people the right thing to ask for.
Yes, see there, and that's it. And you're right, because people will ask you, ask them what they want, and they'll ask for everything under the sun, but won't ask for wisdom and knowledge. And then the key is meekness and obedience, because out of all the great leaders, you'll see meekness and obedience. And what do the scriptures say? The meek shall inherit the kingdom of heaven. The meek. So. And I was on the phone as well with a sister, and she was bringing to my attention, the fellowship coordinator, how Cornelius was more meeker than Peter. You know, God had to tell Peter 3 times, go and slay and eat. Oh, no, Lord, I ain't never anything uncovered unclean. But look at Cornelius. When the angel of the Lord said, I want you to send men to Joppa and ask for Simon Peter, he didn't say that 3 times. When the angel of the Lord left, he called 2 of his household servants and security, a soldier. Told them what happened and sent them on their way. And then look at his meekness. He had all his friends and relatives waiting, you know. And then when he saw Peter coming, he ran out there and fell down Peter's feet and started worshiping Peter. And Peter said, man, get up. I'm a man like you. What you doing? Don't be worshiping me. See what I'm saying? And when Peter went in, Peter said, wait a minute, hold on, whoa. No, it's an unlawful thing for a man who's a Jew to come into another nation. But God has shown me. Any man that's willing to do the righteousness of God is accepted of God. See what I'm saying? So that was a beautiful believer, Cornelius. And for him to get all his friends and relatives, he didn't even know what was going to be told to him. You know what I'm saying? You know, he was meek, humble, too, that how Peter... You know, God had to lovely share 3 times, then told, get down, 3 men secrecy, go with them, doubting nothing, for I have sent them. He gave me assurance, I sent them. So you go, don't get caught up. Okay? So that's the beauty when I'm dealing with people, when I'm dealing with the system. You know, I have IRS agents call me from their home. I have IRS, you know why? Because I don't judge them as individuals. I understand their disposition as that's their work. You know what I'm saying? But I didn't know. I had one guy, I didn't know he was a missionary. He goes all over the world teaching the gospel, Africa, all that, Mike. And, you know, but he had such a demeanor. And then he didn't share that with me until we've been knowing each other 2 or 3 years. Okay, so you got to understand to the fact is, I don't judge them as an individual. And I don't disrespect them because I have truth. You see what I'm saying? Let me say, just because I got truth don't give me the right to disrespect another human being. Okay? I have a higher learning and understanding based on all the baptisms, crises and things that I had to go through dealing, but I knew it wasn't them. You know, I got ex-judges who I'm friends with call me every day, 2-3 times a day. We have breakfast sometimes on Saturday mornings. You know what I'm saying? And they gonna keep me and saying this here, you know, they trying to do this, they trying to do that, period. So, you know, I try not to make it personal. You know, to them, it really is business to them, but it's about commerce. You know, and the Bibles do say the love of money is the root. Yes, sir.
What can I do with my Social Security information right now?
First of all, I would do a Form 56, a 8822B. I get in control and become a fiduciary of my account. Then I would ask the IRS to provide me like a 4506T. It's a transcript, and you want anything that's being reported that's attached to your social. You can go to the Social Security and ask, I need all the entities that my Social Security number is attached to, employers. Because I was able to go all the way back to 56 of my mom and get all her employment records, which it showed her social tied to an employer ID number. All the way back from 56 until she died. Everything after 70, they was hiding up under trust by changing registration statement. See there? And so they kept her alive. So Social Security sent me a letter saying, Ms. Gross, even though you're the claimant, your social is the claimant, even though we researched and found that even though your mom's name changed twice after her passing, both forms was filled out by her on 2 separate occasions that changed her name. But how did she do that 13 years after that? She's battling cast with friendly ghosts. I'm telling you. And then they said, now the system is unprogrammed. We can't go backwards. But we advise you to get with your insurance company to come to a resolution. Well, my insurance company was my bonding company because I'm the executive administrator of the estate. So they had to make me the executive administrator of the company. So now that I had to become the administrative executive of the company as the authority figure to be able, and the responsible party of the trust side, the employee plan master file, in order to be able to fix it. So I had to become the authority and give the instructions on what I needed them to do. Period. Yeah, that's what
So after I do this paperwork, become the fiduciary of my own social security number,
Uh-huh.
what is now my responsibility?
Now your responsibility is to notify the Treasury Department and tell them that you can open up a Treasury account and you want to be the only responsible party in holding due course. And then you can also do a 3949A. It's called a 3949A. It's like a whistleblower, but it's an informational return where you want to have a hearing with an administrative judge of the Treasury Department. And then that's when you sit all your stuff in order. And you go in order at that point.
Right.
Cut out.
Is there any financial responsibility tied to that for me now, going forward?
Well, on the IRS form, that's an administrative issue. So there's no money for filing a 8822B, 56, or 3949A. That's your administrative right. Remember, that's your account.
What was the other one besides the 456?
The 56 8822B,
8822B.
Right. 8822B is changing the address and the responsible party. And when you get into that responsible party, it has to be your name with your social. You can't have another DBA.
Right.
It has to be tied to a social. And that social allows them to identify you as on the database. And the database is tied to everything else. And that's why you have to do it that way. Go ahead.
Why do you change your social security? I mean, your
You-
address?
Well, you want to make sure that it comes to your address where you getting it, because if somebody change your registration statement, they're going to make sure they change the address. Yeah, they ain't going to come to you because they don't want you to know they changed it.
What is the what that is coming to us, right? To our address.
Yeah,
What
the
is that?
address that comes to you.
What is that information?
Or what would they be sending
what would
me?
they be sending
What am I
us?
missing?
Yeah.
Well, now, once you do the change of address and responsible party, you should start getting your information, anything that has to do with your account. And then you got the 5500s department, which is the area code 877-829-5500. And what that is, it allows them that you're the only one they can talk to you about your account. Nobody else can manipulate that account.
So the people who's using your
Social Security number
now,
now.
all everywhere, it's
Okay.
us.
Yeah.
Yeah, they have to.
Okay.
Now you are now
Somebody
the
else is
responsible
getting-
party.
Somebody else is getting notification that
Right.
social security
Right.
number. is
Or
being used.
or they changed the address where they sent it out and it was returned back to them. So they like we
Okay.
can't find them. See what I'm saying? You know, they deliberately create what you call a no match.
Yeah.
If there's a no match, then it'll never like it just goes into what you call it. They call it Social Security call it a suspense account. It goes like in a dark hole. You're not going to see anything, and the ones who receive the information is the one that you get it, and then when it come back to them, oh, we can't find them. They had this unclaimed. It's like unclaimed. It's an unclaimed account, which allows the third parties to keep managing the account and making administrative fees. They can't steal it. It just allows them to stay in position and keep managed because nobody's coming forward.
Now, I've heard that you're not supposed to be paying taxes or whatever, but if the IRS tell you that you owe them money, and
Well,
you haven't paid it,
let me ask you this here something. In your ID, it's all caps. Your all caps is you have to pay tax to use that. That's why they don't like you to use somebody else's ID that they don't recognize. It's got to be a state, federal, or local, like some ID that they recognize, because that ties you into their system. And their system for using that entity allows you. Now, there's things you can do to create what you call another dischargeable instrument. That's like your affidavit. You've heard affidavits inability to pay,
no.
or affidavit inability to pay for tender. When I file something, I don't give them any money. This is a affidavit for inability to pay, cost bond for surety for tender. And in this, I tell them that this affidavit immediately acts as a nunc-pro-tunc, now for then, for all property that's listed in any and all county deeds of records, which the United States and the state of Texas, for past, present, and future contracts which will and or could be obtained by affiant's wet signature for consideration of any and all promissory notes obtained by a third party that was and could be used in any and all counties within the state of the United States and filed with the Department of Treasury for the state of Texas and the United States. And then I say in here that this affidavit is tender for all costs of court and surety bonds in the amount of any cost of the clerk in court for U.S. dollars, and is for any filing fees and or bonds or rent due filed in the office of the clerk of Dallas County, state of Texas. Now, they
Is that
sign
payment
this.
for like anything that happens because of your signature?
Yeah, oh yes. And see, they give you a receipt.
Can you make that into a stamp?
I don't know about that, but okay. But see, they give you a receipt charged to the pumper's affidavit. And I got in here, if they deny it, they're in violation of, it said, African has reserved all its rights as an American citizen, all lowercase, as the Declaration of Independence of 1776 and the original Constitution of 1776, which gave rights to all men as to persons, personal and corporations at all, and is with discrimination. But we, the people, as secured parties, is now under hardship by the bar associations, as to legal disabilities due to discrimination under their color of law. I have been informed that this violation under their color of law, parentheses, violates Title 18 United States, USA, Section 241, 242, and 246. One is conspiracy against your rights, deprivation of your rights. 246 is a privation of a benefit. Now, when they get this, then I've had judges ask the guy and say, man, who did this? Who did this? They don't ask for nothing. If I file an application and affidavit for a temporary restraining order, and permanent injunction due to fraud, misrepresentation, and violation of reservation of rights by an unlawful foreclosure. And notice I got at the top, in the matter of, is all caps. I don't use defendant and plaintiff. It's about our states. And then in the body, the respondents, it's anybody who I put on there that's creating, who's trying to compromise the estate. See the difference? And they signed it as, this was a writ. They issued a writ of possession and gave them 24 hours And when he signs it responsible party and holding due course, not pro se.
Can we get copies of
I can give you yes, because the reason why I'm saying this here is and when we serve this, now I'm gonna tell you, this particular here, I serve Deutsche Bank, who mentioned Deutsche Bank earlier. I served them, Deutsche Bank National Trust Company, as trustee. I served the attorney, the law firm, became a respondent. The justice of the peace became a respondent, and the office of the constable. They served the notice of writ on June the 2nd. I filed this 3/39, and the next day they issued 4 citations. The next day the sheriff served all 4, and the sheriff, he knew somebody working in the tape record, and he was there when the sheriff came. The sheriff said, "Hey, judge, got something for you, court business." and the judge said, "Who had the audacity to sue the whole court? My court!" Shut it down. He's still in his house. The attorney tried, the only one who responded, tried to respond. Said, "I ain't had nothing to do with that. His hands wasn't, he didn't have clean hands either." This is how he spoke. I didn't use any of their procedures. He's not an attorney. He is the responsible party and holding due course related to his estate. These guys are trying to compromise my estate. I have an administrative right to challenge them, anybody who's trying to compromise my estate. You understand? So when he did that, the attorney tried to answer. So the key was, and so the cover letter shows where I had under contract fraud and misrepresentation. Well, what is fraud? Intentional deception. Was it intrinsic, extrinsic, fraud by inducement, constructive fraud is still intentional deception. They couldn't disprove that. Period. So the key was to put them in a catch-22 and give them a way out. As long as I get my results. Bottom line, if not, we're going to have some issues. Because exposure. So when you do that, and they see that, and I can send a letter to the chambers of the judge, private, send it to him only. And that's when I talk to him about foreign authority, foreign jurisdiction, and this is what I need for you to do. And we're going to keep this private and confidential. But if not, then I'm prepared to file an application. And here's the difference between the application, suing it, defending and all that. Or you put up at the top, you'll see an attorney say, to the judge of said court. Now he's talking to his homeboy. He's not talking to the court. See the difference? Okay? Sometimes I would put to said court and all interested parties, or parties of interest. I don't care if you Mickey Mouse, Donald Duck, Porky Pig. I don't care how many hats you wear. If you're interested party, you got any claim that you trying to make.
You're talking to me.
I'm talking to you. Okay? Okay. So you want to make sure they understand that you understand. And so when you do that, I was telling guys that I have in Colorado, and I showed him how some stuff he had to do with fidelity accounts and fill out these, and he's a real detailed person. But he sent his instruction, and he's telling him, you need to do this here. If you don't do this here, I'm gonna do this, and I'm doing this. Well, why you got a hammer in there? They ain't done that yet. No, you letting them know you're weak because you don't know, but you don't put them in a system. If you don't do this, I'm gonna hit you now. You know what I'm saying? You know,
You don't do it threatening.
No, don't threaten. No, just they recognize your knowledge.
That's right. Knowledge is power.
That's right. And they know if you can respond this way in doing what you're doing, you know how to hold me accountable. Period. I tell people, rule of thumb, people, this clerks tell you this here, I say, listen, man, with all due respect, if you're not willing, what you finna tell me, if you're not willing to put it in writing and sign off on it, so I can hold you accountable, anything you say that ain't in writing, I consider it's a lie. Yes, sir.
Speaking of accountability, is there anything we can do to diminish our accountability to the IRS every year?
Well, again, you can, it just depends on where you are, because I've seen them where they create money right in front of my eyes. I mean, I've been in front of the IRS and the guy said, where'd you get this figure? He said, oh, I created it. And they both looked at them. I ain't see that. I ain't hear that. but the key is, again, it's a control measure. A Federal Reserve note is basically a dischargeable instrument. It's a promissory note. It's what they have accepted. That's not government. Period. And that's what we have understood it to be. And that has put a lot of people in bondage because of the lack of understanding that there's no, they didn't know they could do affidavits. They didn't know that their signature is money.
How did Wesley Snipes miss that?
Again, Wesley Snipes, normally those guys are controlled by attorneys, CPAs, they manage their accounts. You hear them, they come up broke and they come up this and that, there, and then you wonder, how did that happen? Well, you know, you spending money, you doing this here and that, but again, those guys are part of someone who is obligated to the IRS, who are obligated. And you can also hold them, they don't even know how to hold their accountants liable. You see them say, well, man, how do I have accountant or advisor and I end up broke? And you ain't let me know until I was broke. Okay? It was well, the key is, if they go back and hold them accountable, it takes the pressure off of them. Yes, sir.
We have a mutual friend, Tilford.
Mm-hmm.
He had sent off as a plaintiff to the IRS challenging their jurisdiction. And it was a couple months, he got back paperwork saying, we don't have jurisdiction over you.
The reason why, and I know a little bit something about it, but the key is the IRS don't have jurisdiction over plaintiffs. That's court. That's another changing your status so that the court has jurisdiction. The IRS will operate in your capacity as an entity, not as a plaintiff.
Well, and also you have a corporation, which is what the IRS is. They don't have jurisdiction over a living man unless there's a contract, right?
Right?
So a lot of times it's announcing your living man status and demanding, show me a contract that I have with you. Where is it? Where's my wet signature on that contract?
But we're saying living, we saying show me a contract. The point is we haven't positioned ourselves according to a responsible party. See, and that's different. It goes back to accounting. What's your status when it comes to accounting? When it comes to commerce? What's your accounting? See, if you're not dealing, I went to the sheriff, that's what I went to, was in Den, Cassius, and he had been in jail. He stole a college, where he used the money, he was going to put it back, but they ordered it before he put it back. And so he spent about 90 days or 6 months, a long time ago, in jail. He got out, he was through, and they came and picked him up again. And so I got a call from the fellowship coordinator, and I went out there to Denton. And I asked the sheriff, I said, Sheriff, could you give me an accountant? He said, huh? I said, you can't. Don't you get 2 for 1 or 3 for 1? I said, Dallas gave you 3 for 1. Tarrant Guy give it to. He said, oh, he get 2 for 1. So he gives me an accounting. So I looked at it and I added the charges that they charged him with. And I said, he had spent 6 months over here. I said, man, y'all owe him. Why is he in jail? He said, huh? I said, for the accounting, you owe him. So why are you still holding him? Huh? So I goes to the DA, investigator. And I told him. I said, okay, they charged him with this. It was this amount. And they still got him there. And they owe him. So why is he still there? So the investigator, he had to go to the court. And they let him go. See, I treat it as an accounting. See there? It's all about commerce. And most people, we don't think, we still think it's about right and wrong to them. No, it's about this here. First thing they're going to do, what we going to charge you with? A charge is, it's a debt. So again, how do you take a traffic ticket and turn it into a criminal? Well, you can take my body and hold me for ransom until I pay you. See, and that is, you got to understand, if we want to talk about money, let's talk about money. Now, what other alternatives do I have? My signature is money when it comes to you guys. That's why a complainant always has to be tied to a social. An accused always tied. Think about it. That's why an attorney, I know when you sue an attorney, he can't represent himself.
That's right. He's got to get an attorney to represent him.
Because now his social is his state. Now, it goes back to charging my account. So you always got to have an injured party, and you got to have the accused. But who's the injured party? And if there's an injured party, where's the affidavit? The affidavit is the highest form of judgment in commerce. Now the question is, can they do a declaration affidavit? No, because they're operating as a foreign agent. They can do penalties and interest under their authority, judiciary, but they can't do a declaration. They can't do it because they're operating as a foreign agent. Mm-hmm.
Is there any other personal information besides my Social Security that may be used?
Your birth certificate. Your birth certificate is how they trade. Your birth certificate is actually you was handed over, or we was handed over through the birth certificate, and they control that birth certificate in the District of Columbia. That's the up and lower. The all caps is British.
So is there any way for us to?
Well, you hear people
repurpose
go,
that?
you get authenticated copy. But think about it, authenticated copy, you don't get the original. Whoever got the original is the holder in due course.
Now, I have his original birth certificate.
You have an authenticated original copy.
None of us have our original. Nobody.
Nobody. You can get an authenticated copy, but you can't get the original.
So we can never get it.
No, you just have to separate and let them know you're the live person and you're the whole and responsible party of
How
that.
do I do that?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The 8822B to 56, that's it. That's why you do that. Because they're never going to give you that original birth certificate. They're never going to give you that. There's some things I can go and show you, but they're not going to recognize you in commerce. Now, they created the system. This is how it operates. It's like Monopoly. You don't take real money and play Monopoly. You can't take Monopoly money and play real money. Play in their system. This is the game they created. And so you have to respect their game.
By knowing their rules.
By
knowing who they're
yes, knowing who you're dealing with and being wise as a serpent but meek and harmless as a dove. So you've got to understand how they operate. And when you do that, now you understand compliance. They have a compliance. The Word of God has compliance. If we fall in compliance, with this, we can see all the other stuff, right? But everything has compliance. Your job, whatever you do, I mean, it's the way you go out there and milk a cow. If you don't do it the right way, you're in trouble. Okay? You know, it's the way you do it. It has been tested that works. Okay? But if you don't, you go, yeah, pow! You may not like the results, but and you're like, get somebody out here to know what they do. Because I'm going to kill him, you know what I'm saying? So it's compliance in everything that we do. Even from when we were being potty trained as kids. It's a way, you know what I'm saying? And it took steps, and it took time to get to that point. So same thing here, and that's why you never really get mad. You just understand. I've seen them pass laws. I've seen them do to every action. There's a what? Reaction. You see it all the time. You just sit back and watch. And then once you get there, they'll create a documentation, and because of this action, they'll create that. And you gotta understand that's what they do, because they are protecting their system. And if they don't protect their system, who's going to protect it? That's it. And it's just that we get caught up a lot of times because we don't understand the system in which they have created. And so when you see that and you understand certain things, you know they're in a catch-22. When I file and do in the matter of, you know, that just throws them off. The clerks be so intimidated because they were like, you know, I'm afraid to say anything. You know what I'm saying? You know, they've been so intimidated where suing the Social Security in state court. How do you sue Social Security in state court, a federal agency? Suing the whole federal court in county court at law. So a state district court. You know what I'm saying? How do you do that? And most people say, well, you know, well, attorneys can't do that, right? They get disbarred. But when you file in the way that you do, it brings things back to perspective, and they understand when you know what you're doing. You know what I'm saying? They understand this guy, he didn't fit. You see a lot in divorce cases in the matter of, in the interest of the children, right? But really, they are running all states. Yours, the spouse, the kids, all of them got an estate. And they controlling all of that as a fiduciary. That's why we can get into it and drop the charge, and you always hear the state pick it up. You know what they picking it up? As a fiduciary. Because you just signed saying that you're incompetent. Because you didn't step up as a responsible party and holding the course as it relates to your account, your estate. See the difference? So they look at us as incompetent until we take over our stock accounts and take over the accounting. If we don't take over the accounting and guard our accounts, then we're not going to win.
My husband's mother passed, and he wasn't very smart. He gave his sister power of attorney because he was down here. He thought that would be easier for her to manage. Well, she kind of reneged on her trust, and she took over and she changed everything. They got, he and his other sister, which are half sisters and brother, they got minimum, and the other brother and sister, which is her, they got the bulk of the money. But now we found out, because she was trying to take my husband's money that his mom gave, we found out that she has 2 accounts. And according to that trust, the sister that has the power of attorney was supposed to cash that trust in and divide it equally. She has not done it yet. Now, what can we do to make that public? Because she has all the information in that trust. Well,
public, you may be violating Privacy Act, disclosure rules, or RISA. You may bank Secrecy Act, so you have to get with the bank officer and get with a wealth manager. Wealth, not private client, but wealth manager. And their number one priority is to maintain the privacy and Now, the claim that can be made privately is that she's in breach of the trust records. If the trust, remember, the trust is the indenture. If she in violation of the trust indenture, that can be ruled by another heir or something of that nature. But you want to understand, what is the trust? What do the trust tell them to do? What is the rules of the trust? And if she in breach of those rules, of the trust, of those indentures, she's in breach of her fiduciary responsibility.
Okay, now, I think she's waiting, 'cause my husband is the oldest, I think she's waiting for the two oldest ones to die off, I think then she's gonna cash it in.
But right now, he can transfer that to a trust. He can transfer all of that to his trust. He become a trustee. Like, I'm a trustee, a seller, and a compliance overseer. I have a trust that has 14 indentures.
So,
And
my
so
husband
I
can
don't,
do
you
that
don't,
now?
so what they say, yes. So you don't want to own nothing. You don't want to own nothing. Not on that, own nothing under that social. Everything is done under trust. And now you become a trustee, like the state. You become, a lot of times they don't like, or the attorneys don't like for you to be the settler, because that's a conflict with their association. They always want to be in control of your accounts. And that's what's so sad, because they're going to make sure they don't get to your heirs. Not at all. If they do, it's going to be very miserable. You know what I'm saying? Right, it's going to be very low. It ain't going to be a whole lot. It ain't going to tell them what the whole estate is worth. Like I say, it's things finding out now that what's the inkling that your children don't know. You know what I'm saying? We didn't know. I mean,
It's been the greatest kept secret until here recently.
that's
If
it.
it wasn't for the internet, we
Yeah.
wouldn't know any of this.
Yes, and it's getting to a point now that when they created Google, if you Google the right things, it'll give you. You got a hunch about something, you do your little Google, and it'll connect the right dots. If you give it the right answer, or you ask it the right way, you know what I'm saying? So it kind of defeated that privacy that they consider as patent. This is our inner secrets that we control, and that's it. And so it's getting to a point now where they already know that the cat is getting out the bag. And so many people.
Have you heard anything about a contract that was signed back in, I think it was 1936 or 37 with the Bar Association?
Yeah.
On May 31st, that was up. Did they get that extended?
Well, I do know the 1933, with the Security Exchange Commission, it came and a lot of things happened. A lot of things there because, again, you still have a foreign agents running our system.
Right.
So it's a lot of things being done without the public's knowledge, so they can stay in position, stay in control. And so it's just that I got friends all over that's, I got friends who are heirs to, some major, I don't say major, it's like the Edward Joneses, Charles Schwab's, the Raymond James, things like that. They, these guys are heirs to some of those guys, and a lot of them they know and don't know. And I've dealt with some people, attorneys or CPAs, in their firms, and you'd be amazed. The heirs don't have a clue. And I'm sitting there talking, and I ask them a certain question, and they bob and weave it and bob it. And, they be like, he be like, I didn't ask you that. That ain't what I asked you.
They're trying to change the subject.
Yeah. They kind of like, I can't believe you asked me that, So you gotta understand, Ted, is that once you see the bigger picture, It's things that they got to get done. It's things that they got to get back in position. It's things that is coming to the light. You know, it's things that God is revealing. And every hidden thing should be brought to the what? Light. You know, and you begin to see it. Because every time I get calls, everybody comes with something different. And they come with me, I found this out, I found this out, I found this out. And then you start connecting the dots. And you start seeing the stress. Because to run an operation like this, it takes a lot of baby.
As I finish up my affidavit, because it was so, do I dare bring in that Social Security trust account that they tapped into, or is that something that would?
Well, I don't know if you're trying to get control of your accounts. That's the question.
Well, the thing is they defrauded me out of $330,000 in that divorce.
But
I mean, the attorney violated state law. I mean, I had state laws to protect me, and he didn't protect me.
well, first of all, let me say this here. I've had the DA told me they have what you call judicial immunity, supposedly. The key is, and I've been told, they can do anything they want to, maliciously, in error, above their authority, whatever you want to do, if you go in their court. I said, well, look what you said. You said judicial immunity. They don't have immunity over the truth. The whole truth and nothing but the truth.
Exactly.
Now, if I don't submit to the authority, then they have no jurisdiction. But if they step over that authority after I put them on notice, then I get to tear their butts up. Especially as the holding due course and responsible party. But I get to file against their estate. See the difference? No, I'm not there. I want each individual's estate. If you compromise my estate, I have a right to make a claim on your estate. Period. That's going to affect your lineage, your heirs. See the difference? So that's why you got immunity. Because the people that you are helping want you to do whatever they want you to do. But if you get caught, you got immunity. But if they didn't have immunity, they wouldn't do half the things they do today.
Well, and that's where Trump passed that executive order for this type of fraud.
Yeah. But see, again, you look what the law is and you go back and create a new law. You know what I'm saying? You look at the law, you come back and you pass a new law. And you're right. There's things that he has to do, and it's things that he's in conflict and he's fighting with some guys on the inside. He get ticked off at a minute. You know, I ain't your friend. You know what I'm saying? You know, they be trying to shake his head, but you know what I'm saying? So, and that's it, yes, sir.
Well, I was going to say, they still have an oath of office. And so if you can show that they're perjuring their oath, that creates a problem for them because that pierces right through their immunity.
Good point. That's why when I serve or I sue the office. Now you got to come and explain why did your office get sued. And you hold an oath. Good point. Your oath is that, see, I can sue the individual lawyer, the judge or something, but again, they just get another one. Oh, he resigned. They go appoint another attorney to preside over this particular matter.
Can you slap a lien on their bond?
You know what? I had a friend of mine years ago, and they had him in the paper. He put liens on 5 judges, county judges, because they kept interfering. He warned them, gave them proper notice, and he put the lien on there, and they sent about 8 sheriffs to go get him. They had him in the paper, and he could get 99 years. It's 10 per charge or something. And I showed up to go, and he get in there, and he was in there for about 7 months. And I finally got a hearing, criminal side, and showed up, and he had this couple of twins, they was helping him. And I showed up, and the DA, I know, Greg, he said, Mr. Willis, what you doing here for? So I'm here checking on a friend. And I said, Cheryl, where's he's in the holding tank. He'll be out in a minute. So I said, okay. So I sit down back, so they brought him out. And Hannah had been in there for about 7 months. And he had an attorney with right there, and I told him not to hire an attorney. But his mom paid $20,000 to hire an attorney. That's why he was in there for 7 months. And so he finally got a hearing up, so he in front of the judge, he said, Judge, they haven't told me what I'm charged with. And he been in there 7 months. So the judge said, hey, when y'all gonna charge him? Oh, we'll do it in 10 days. But he been in there 7 months, but you still ain't been charged.
Yeah.
So Hannah said, well, Judge, all due respect, on the record, I want to fire my attorney today, on the record. Fire. 20 days he's back. Never went back. The key was that his mom entered into an agreement with somebody that couldn't be in his best interest. The damage had already been done. The liens he put on this, and you know what they told him? If you release the liens to him, and he released the liens. The liens effective, I'll put liens on people before. I'll put $2 million liens on companies, and they had a lawyer out of London. He came because he had the accent. You know what I'm saying? And he came up, and the other people, I think they own a big car dealership, and the client was here for me had so, and they was wrong, and so we had put a lien on him, and the court, I told him not to go, but he wanted to go, and so couldn't let him go and get set up. I went in with it, and they had about, the attorney said, well, if he let that lien, release that $2 million lien from the deed of records, we could talk then. So the judge said, well, hey, I hate that to put you in jail. And you gonna release the lien or what? So it's just like somebody had a gun on me and said, hey, you either gonna release it, we don't care whether it's right. You either gonna release it or put you in jail. So I said, I went to talk to her. She said, no, Michelle, you can't talk to her. Come up here. I said, no, we're not officer of the court. So I said, well, can I talk to her? He said, yeah. So we go out there, we sit down and talk. I look up at about 8 bailiffs came. They go inside the court, and they come and say, hey, y'all got to come back in. So we come back in. And they was on the set by the wall just looking up. They didn't know what to expect. But I was waiting, though, if he didn't release that lien. And I said, well, just what y'all gonna do? I said, well, like, we don't have a choice. But I don't think we're gonna get out of here if we don't. So he got out. That next day, I filed an arrest. 8 jokers had guns, we didn't have guns. But if we were gonna go home today, it was best time to be wise. Because we would have made it out of there. Okay? Period. So you gotta understand is that the court is used for their benefit. And any time you step up into a court, you have penetrated their veil. And once you penetrate their veil, you say you reserve your rights, but you hear. You say, I'm a sovereign person, but you hear. You say, okay, I ain't coming. Okay, we'll have to pick you up. But we're doing an order on the all caps, and we're using you as the ransom. It's your body as the ransom while we make a charge on the all caps. And that's how we operate. And so I don't really get into the hustle. I just understand their structure and know how to counter that. Whether either you're in compliance or you're not in compliance. Period. You know, attorney, you ain't supposed to talk to me. I'm not a member of the bar. You a member of the bar? Yeah, I'm a member of the bar. First of all, you're not even supposed to be acknowledging. Because see, when you talk to them, you acknowledging you giving them jurisdiction. You actually waive your rights by even acknowledging them.
The expression that they use, the judge would use when a person represents themselves, it's
Well-
only a fool.
Well, what you're saying is you're an attorney representing your corporate account. And you know if you're an attorney representing your corporate crime, you're not a private member of the bar. So in actuality, you're just an outsider. You're not a private member.
So
The only way you go in that court, when you step in that court, either you got an attorney who's a barrister, they go before the court, or you're a solicitor. And one of the two, guess what? You're an attorney, you automatically labeled as pro se. And you show up, you pro se. I mean, I've had guys say he reserved rights on the right. I reserve my rights. Yeah. He's here! He's here! I said, okay. And I had to understand what he was saying. And what he was saying was, it didn't matter. You pierced that veil when you came into the court. Now, I've been in situations I've come to court, and I'm a fictitious litigant, they say. But I address that in the deed of record.
Say that again.
Fictitious litigant. In other words, I've won the court and have an affidavit. I'm not going to have nothing that your procedures. I said, I have an affidavit, and I want to make this Exhibit A.
You and your own representation?
No. I am me. I'm not representing me.
But you didn't have a lawyer?
No. I had an affidavit. And I said, hey, here's my affidavit. I'm going to make this Exhibit A. I need a court report. I made my affidavit Exhibit A. And then I get it to one attorney one. And I said, well, just for the record, I don't want to leave nothing out. So I like to read it for the record. Right here. Start reading. He tried to tell me to hurry up quietly. And I said, oh, you want me to hurry up? She said, reset. We go in the back. I know the attorney don't go back there. It's me, the judge, bailiff, and the court administrator. And we go back there. Court administrator said, I'm statutory rules. I said, do not quote me statutory rules. I'm not an attorney. I do not practice in copywritten law. And I do have a right to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth. That's my God-given right. She shut up. And the bailiff would say, hey, well, judge, what you want me to do? I said, whoa. I'm the taxpayer. I pay his salary and your salary. I can hire you for $140 an hour. She shut up. You're a rookie, they got to answer. Well, the state will do, this particular one, the state of Texas, they do special appearance and they plead to the jurisdiction. Judge said, Mr. Gross, I can't even issue a for you. Your affidavit is judgment.
So, but the judge can say only a fool will represent himself. That's to intimidate us, right? You have to know what you're doing when you go in there.
Well, no, he's telling you the truth, but he really telling you the truth because you are acting as if you are a member of the bar. You're not a part of the association. You're not a part of their oath. You have no allegiance to them other than you are saying that you're an attorney representing your corporate account.
But you don't do that. You come in with an affidavit.
I come with an affidavit, and that affidavit didn't even reserve my rights. So I'm not subject to your authority.
So
If
just
you
don't
can't-
say you represent yourself.
If you don't think, no, but I've been in court through a power of attorney, for someone else. They call their name up and say, I mean. They said, you such and such. I said, they said, are you representing them? I said, no, I am them by POA. I became them. Period. And he said, proceed. So you gotta understand, it's the play of terminology and whether or not you understand. Right. It's your understanding when you're standing in front of the judge and you understand his position as well. He's a notary, he's a public official, and he's a judiciary officer that operates under canon rules. See, attorney, a private member, operates under he's a private association. He operates under the authority of the bar, as a registered agent. So when you go in there, they don't even have to apply that law. You submit it. Once you submit it, you became a subject matter. And once you became a subject matter, your hands tied behind your back. They're going to do what they want to do until you challenge the authority in a respectful way. And I got people all over the United States and outside the United States that would have a piece of stuff, but I always ask the question, what are the results that you're getting? Or have you been, I'm quite sure you guys have been in a situation where y'all been in state court and then you file something, they move to federal court, and federal court, they're going to move against you because you allowed them to move to federal court. You took it out of the authority of the state court. Each state has their own constitution. And check this out. Whether it's local, state, or federal, they still operate within a county, but the state. So you got all these local, city, county, state, federal, still operating within a state. You see what I'm saying? So these are the things that I've encountered from experience. I've seen people try to fight them, but if you file the proper paperwork, they have no legs to stand on. Nothing. I mean, they when I say in the matter of, and in the matter of my state or in the matter of somebody else's state, I'm not responsible for it there, but I have an interest in that state. See the difference? And I'm having an interest as an interested party. But what gives me an interest as an interested party in that estate is that I have some type of contract, verbal or whatever. You know what I'm saying? But I'll put it in writing. And I give it verbal right.
As far as the affidavit goes, when a bar member takes an oath of office,
He can't do a declaration.
yeah, but I mean, if you file an affidavit on him, basically you can use that oath against him. Because it says right in there, he's supposed to represent me the best.
Well, he's supposed to represent your corporate account.
Yeah.
That's what he don't do. He used the law to benefit their purpose or their unlawful enrichment. And that's where you hold him accountable. But if you do go and file, once you submit to the bar, then because see the bar really only for two attorneys that has a problem. So when you go up on the submission, you saying that you're still an attorney. And you're not a private member.
Even though they're affidavit form?
But the affidavit form is going to set it in a different standard to the fact that it's against the bar and it's private member. See the difference?
Yeah.
I'm not going up under the bar and trying to tell it on another private member. And I'm not a private member. See the difference?
Yeah.
So your chances, I've seen them where they was found guilty. I filed on my attorney, and he brought the other side attorney. They were both found guilty of misconduct. And I said, well, what about my money? Oh, they entered into a private reprimand. That's okay. I don't even know what that private reprimand is, but what about the money? Oh, we ain't got nothing to do with that. Oh, so I just filed for my health. And that's what to let me know that submitting to them is another efficient and energy position. You
So
know,
basically, I should just not let it go.
No. I didn't say that. I said, no, what you do your affidavit, file it against the bar. He works, that's his guy. You his regulator. So I'm not going to file saying I'm practicing. No,
No, I don't want to.
no, I'm
I
filing.
just want an investigation
Yeah.
done. Because I feel that they've
No,
defrauded me.
you serious behind. You still have his address?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, no. Sir, the affidavit and a notice. Take your notice and it's attached to affidavit and everything he didn't do and how much it violated you to the $1.52. Serve him through the U.S. Postal Service. Certified return receipt mail. Give him 72 hours to contest it upon receipt. After receipt, 72 hours, send him an agreed judgment for that amount. Once you send that to him as agreed judgment for that amount, if he don't respond, then you file your application in the matter of your estate for a declaration. You already got it. He ain't got to say nothing else.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's done. It's done.
So then I get the money.
It's done. Then you can put a link, then you get the order, declaration, the judge confirmed, and you have the green card in there so that he was served on such. He's in agreement under tacit law, TACIT. And once you get the judgment signed, you file it in the deed of records, the order. And boom, you can put a lien, attach it to anything you got. Period. You can make his, you can, boom. I mean, yeah, it's a done deal. Or you can ask the clerk to issue you a writ. Got a writ of exclusion. You got different writs. That's always issued by the clerk.
Writ of execution is the
Writs are always issued by the clerk. Always. Normally, when the judge signs an order, boom, they can issue a writ. That's what they call themselves doing with the other couple, say they issue a writ. But because Common are active fast, there was no writ issue, but they had a 24-hour notice hoping they would just leave the property. Just abandon the property. And that's when you contact the IRS, they'll say, well, you abandon the property. That's how they're taking the property. They can't prove they own it. They just acted as a landlord, not property. Okay, yes, sir.
I was visiting our friend in Phoenix, Arizona 2 weeks ago. Had a rental car and was going down some residential street and got pulled over by the cops. Said I was speeding. It was right after I turned on that light, got onto the residential road. I asked them if I could see the equipment that I was clocked with. They said no. They said no, I could not. And so, and then they said, here's your ticket, and you can either pay that online or you can come back here in 30 days and contest it. It's Phoenix, Arizona. I live here. I wasn't coming back in 30 days like they say. So I went ahead and paid the ticket. It came out to $260. They said I was going 10 miles over the speed limit. The actual citation was worth $75, and the fees, they had 4 fees on there. One was for $80 for the court fees. Another one was $80 for judicial something or other. I think I want to have it in the car. It came out to $260. What were my real options? By the way, when we turned around and came back on our way back out, the sign was not posted until after where it was 100 feet before we were stopped. Yes. There was no posting of the $35 speed, 35 mile per hour speed limit that I would have even known. And so it wasn't like I had noticed that it was 35 miles an hour and that I broke that knowingly. And then the officer said, you should know the speed limits on these roads.
Can I answer his question, Sam?
Yeah, you go ahead. Yes, ma'am.
The laws are set up where they can only get you if you're acting in commerce. These are the laws that are all over the books. Their books in Arizona, our books in Texas. If you're not operating in commerce, they have no jurisdiction over you. In other words, are you transporting goods for money? Are you transporting people for money? Are you running a taxi service? Probably not. You're operating privately. When you operate in private, they don't have jurisdiction over you to do anything. You could be going 90 to 120 miles an hour and 30 miles an hour. They can't touch you. You're acting privately. And these are the way that the laws are written, and it's all about the definitions. When you say, officer, am I being recorded? The first thing out of your mouth is, I am not operating in commerce, I'm operating privately. Everything shifts. I'm operating in the private. You can look at my car and see no one's in it. I'm not transporting people for money, for hire. I'm not transporting goods for hire, I'm here operating in private. I'm injured no one. Even the way the laws are written, the only way that they can give you a speeding ticket legally is if you're operating in commerce and there's an injured party. So if you're speeding and you injure somebody and you're transporting goods or people, that's the only time they can ticket you. So see, they're misapplying the law. And as soon as you know that, anytime an officer pulls you over, officer, what's under what jurisdiction are you operating under? Oh, under the commerce clause, right? Well, I'm not operating in commerce, I'm operating privately. And I know you're recording me, so, if you don't understand the nuances of the law that you're writing me a ticket under, I want it on the record that I said these things. Due process requires I give you notice, officer, that I'm not operating in commerce, I'm operating privately.
But it's too late for him to do all that now.
Right, now it's too late. Now you just go back after misfraud. And you put that in the affidavit of truth, that they misapplied the
So
law.
you can do that.
Yeah, and demand your money back. Absolutely. Do it all in affidavit form.
It's all right. That's what I'm doing.
Yeah, and you can tell them to credit your account
Right.
and send them wire instructions to your account.
Just send the money back to you. Because they were misapplying the law. They're committing fraud. They misapplied the law and they don't even apply to you. You're not operating in commerce.
And
You're
then
operating in the
if they
private.
don't do that, send them out. You tell them in your mailer that you have 72 hours to, upon receipt, to credit my account back. If not, I'll be filing an application in the district state court.
He sends that to the court,
He's writing that, he's sending in a letter, right?
to the court when his ticket was coming.
Well, it's probably if it's a police like that. I don't know if it was a sheriff or police officer, city policeman or whatever, municipal. Normally, city is municipal, but it's just things that you can do and tell them, like Bunny said, credit your account, and then once they credit your account, if not, you put it in there. Then, I've reserved all rights to file. Please be advised, and I've reserved all rights to
He has to
file.
put his account number on the.
No, he fill his wiring instructions on, right, and send there. And say, please be advised that I've reserved all rights to file in the district state court that my account have not gotten credited the amounts of assets. But if I go into credit court, I'm gonna go for extra, not just the amount that they took because of the middle language and all the other stuff that took place.
And this
Yeah, and that'll get the understanding because you know how and where to go. Yeah, they know you're going there, and you're not being negative. You're just giving them facts. I'm not threatening you or anything.
Yeah, I've been driving for I don't know how long. I don't get speeding tickets. I was in a place that I didn't know and it was unmarked. It was my only speeding ticket. $260. I'm like, come on, guys.
Right. Yeah, I'll
Okay.
do that, and I would also do it
Buy everybody lunch.
so it don't count. It don't go against you by you.
And I have a commercial driver's license, so there's nothing I can do. There's not like I had to pay it. There wasn't a class I could take. I'm disqualified because I'm having a commercial driver's license.
Yeah. But
I don't know how
I would.
point system works or anything like that.
Yeah, but I would raise the issue and the facts, like Bonnie said, based on these facts that I'm challenging I'm challenging the claim as a responsible party and holding due course. And if you do that, then because see, I just don't really get into the acknowledging that I'm that fiction. That's all it is. I don't acknowledge that I'm that fiction. And so I keep it to the fact that, you broke the law. You broke the law. You're out of compliance, put it like that.
See, I also lived part-time in Germany. I lived over there for about 10 years, and
Wow.
that's what they do. People say the Autobahn has no speed limit, but it actually does. But that only comes into play after you have an accident. You can go as fast as you want on the Autobahn, and that's what people do. But if you hit someone or cause an accident, the first thing they do is they go, how fast were you going? And then they go from the posted speed limit, which is 130 kilometers an hour, 70 miles an hour, and they go, you were going this much over the speed limit, and so now your fine starts at this. But no one actively patrols the Autobahn and see if you're breaking the speed limit. Only when you actually have an accident does the actual speed limit come, and that's the way it should be over here.
Yeah, but now it's two different countries. Yeah, no,
I've got the 1992 Dodge Stealth.
Yeah, buddy, you be in some of them countries, you gotta. I mean, hey, it behooves you to understand their laws and and I've been in areas where they didn't have red lights and stuff. They had a horn, but oh Lord, I'm gonna make it to my destination. Yeah, you just gotta, it behooves to know what the laws are. I mean, who's that kid that was took a painting or something in China? And they put him in jail and beat him so bad.
He wrote graffiti on their wall.
Oh, he did?
Yeah, that's what he did.
Oh, and they took him and beat him so bad.
26 lashes.
God.
But that's their laws. You can't even spit or put paper on the street. They'll be jailed for this. Everybody knows that.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. Japan, you can't break their laws.
You gotta have a handbook. You go, but anyway, so it just depends. It's countries that have different laws, states have different laws. People get judged in one over there, but if they was over here, you over there, it'd be a whole different ball game. So that's it. But when it comes to the live man, and when it comes to the fiction, if you don't separate them two on their documents and treasury and Social Security and show that you have a fiduciary responsibility as a responsible party and holding due course, you don't care. And so it's all about the accounting, and that's what you want. It's all about the accounting. But I tell you, if you got any problem in the family, you had the truth. Truth don't change. If you position yourself properly, because you don't practice. So who to say? I've seen them go back 30, 40, 50 years and tell you, but you try to go back 40, 50 years and they category. Nope. Statutes done ran, ran, all this here done ran. No. But when it comes to them, it's a whole different ballgame. They're going to find a way to go back 30, 40 years. Yeah, there's no statutes on crime, you know what I'm saying? On criminal, stuff like that. So, but yeah, little things that I see I've done that I give you life experiences. Because, ain't somebody told me. I just sit and watch the results. Sometimes I've gone to the criminal side and I've talked to the DAs. I say, hey, no, we're going to get him that money. I say, cause the first time I asked for, where's the affidavit? I've had judges on the criminal side ask the DA. He asked this one, son-in-law. He said, son, you know why you're here? He said, Frank, Judge, with all due respect, no, I do not. And he said, well, where's the persecuting affidavit? Say, DA, where's the affidavit? Everybody got quiet. So the judge said, y'all ain't got no affidavit? He said, y'all go in there and y'all deal with that. So the sheriff come over there too in the room. He said, man, they finna railroad you. This is the sheriff. They finna railroad you. And then no injured party, no affidavit. Well, why was he there?
Mm-hmm.
See, no injured party, no affidavit. So why was he there? You see what I'm saying?
Whenever we do the alphabet from now on, we should just say A is for affidavit.
Yeah.
That's a word.
That's a good one.
That's what you should associate.
That's a good one. See?
I've never heard it as often as I've heard it today. And it
Yes.
seems to be the
Yes.
The key word.
Because it established you challenging the claim against you. If you don't have it in the mail and send it, it's no challenge. It can always come up again. But if you say, oh, I got an affidavit, and I served them back, and They didn't respond. So
That's your
therefore,
record of notice.
that's your record of notice and your record that the claim is invalid.
Okay.
Claim is invalid. So now, are you going to discriminate against me now, or are you going to, no, because now I would have a claim if you deny me. Because this is the only thing you use. No, here it is. I challenged all of that. See what I'm saying? And that's it. And once you do that, that becomes your proof that you didn't approve. And even if they write you a ticket, you come back, you can write, I do not wish to contract, boom, 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 I disagree, write over it, boom, 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 send a certified mail receipt, cover letter, boom, within 3 days. It's called the 3-day rights to cancel. Right, that's the 3-day rights to cancel. And once you do that, then there is no contract. They came holotastic law, 3-day rights to cancel. Real estate, they do the same thing when they get ready to take you out the house. They give you a 3-day notice to vacate. You don't vacate in 3 days, or you don't respond, you're in agreement. Then you go to JP court. That court is only it's a forcible entry and detain. It just allows them to break in your house, detain you while they put your stuff out.
JPS?
Yeah, it has nothing to do with ownership. Nothing. 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 Nothing to do with ownership.
So when the sheriff comes to your house, if he doesn't have a warrant, he can't come in the house.
Be honest with you, he can do whatever he wants to if you don't know how to hold him accountable. A lot of times, if I've had somebody file bankruptcy, and they had like in the country, and they came out to evict him. He had filed a bankruptcy. You know, bankruptcy is like a mandate. They're supposed to shut everything down. You know, they have passed some laws since then. But they said, no, I don't care about that. I said, call 911. When they called 911, he looked back out there, they go, pew! They would call because you know why? The minute he dialed 911 and said he had a bankruptcy, guess what? It became a record with the dispatcher. And boy, he looked back at that, they was gone. Because when they heard that dispatcher, boom, y'all get out of there. They still had to honor the bankruptcy mandate. And they passed some laws now, huh?
I thought a warrant has to be signed by a judge, all that stuff, or you can just tell them, you're not coming in.
Well, warrant, yeah, you can. You could tell them, and a lot of times, or you can give them proper notice. But I've noticed from experience that a lot of people sometimes, and the people on the other end, I don't know if they done got paid or whatever, but sometimes they act like they ain't see it. They act like they didn't see it.
Who acts like I didn't see it?
Now the sheriff may be different, police, stuff like that. But I've had to call the sheriff on some people and say that they did, or we filed a suit in district state court, and they came out there and doing it. And I called the sheriff, and the sheriff come out there and say, hey, if you not a president of the bank or vice president of the bank, then you got to leave. And they sit there and look at it, shake my hand, and go on about their business. But the sheriff, he is the law enforcement for the county. He's the one that holds the body, the corpus. Right.
So now I dialed 911 by mistake. My keys got stuck.
Mm-hmm.
And when she called me back and I told her I did it by mistake. And she said, well, we've already sent the sheriff out there to check it. I said, but nothing is wrong. I dialed it by mistake. She said, well, he's on his way. So when he came to the door, this guy's about 6 feet tall. And my husband said, he's knocked on the door and said, do you have a car? I said, no. He said, who's in the house with you? I said, just my husband now. He says, in the car. I said, no. He said, can I come in? Well, my husband didn't want to cause him trouble. He said, just let him in. But I didn't feel like he was right because I told him there was nothing wrong.
Yeah, but you know
we did the right thing by letting him in.
Yeah, and in that scenario, yes, because he don't know if y'all was under duress or somebody was back there saying, hey, with a gun against your head and saying, if you say something, hey, I'm gonna kill you or what. So once he get to a certain extent and he's there, he have what you call protocol. And protocol is, hey, I understand, but I still gotta follow my procedure. That's it.
Okay. I just
What if
want
you
to know.
refuse to let him in? Because I wouldn't let him in. I would not have let him in.
Okay. Well, like I said, I don't know what his mentality would have been. I don't know what he would have had to call his supervisor and get whatever, because they'll call his supervisor. What should I do? And then he may have to have a supervisor tell him to go away. You see what I'm saying? But they have protocol. It's just certain things that they have to do.
I'm real picky about who I let in my house.
Oh, I can imagine.
They ain't coming at my house.
You're Republican Texas, I know. I know Republican Texas. You like,
Yeah.
I'm not. You got a different mindset because I've seen how y'all have taken the rights of the people.
Oh, Texas.
Yeah, right. And when you got that type of understanding and knowledge, I understand. I definitely understand. It's kind of like they don't know your history. They don't know your background. They don't know.
Yeah, they
things
learn
that
really
you've
quick
seen.
now.
Yeah, they learn really good the way you stand up. You stand up and you just say what it is what it is. But I guarantee you, the program that you see and who I got, also, we did one today. And I'll tell you about that at lunch. And who to make sure that you shut it down. I got one that you serve that's going to shut all of that down. Yeah. I'm telling you that
You
much.
have a person that you serve.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
See, I need to learn how to serve.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, you will.
Get memorized.
Yeah, you will.
Well, I just have
Yeah,
never
you
served
got
any. I've never been in trouble, so I've never served anybody, or
Well, you know what? I had never knew anything about the system until I was 29 or 30. And I went in there and I hired over 45 to 50 attorneys. And I used to close my eyes and hope I had it's kind of like you close your eyes and say, I hope this is a rabbit. When you open your eyes, you're looking at a snake, still looking at it with a cross-eyed and a forked tongue. You're like, oh man, But I said, could they all be this way? And that's what caused me to research and find out. Like saying the oath of office, the fraternities, the private associations. We have more associations than anything. If you just go and watch the associations, Google how many associations do we have in Texas or in the United States. Watch the associations. Associations means you're part of our department of group. And now we have associations where you're associations and you get brownie points, you get advantages to do certain things, privileges, by being an associate for so long. An associate always require what? Fees. You buy your fees, and now you locked in. You see what I'm saying? So you gotta understand those guys operate through some type of compliance and some type of association that allows them. The HOAs, the home associations, all, and they'll foreclose on you. You don't pay your association fee.
But you can get out of that, right?
Oh yeah. You get. Oh yeah, I know that. But
You lose your purse.
yeah, use your perps and they'll go to court and foreclose. I've seen them foreclose on people. The house paid up. No, they go foreclose because of the homeowners. They take that house. They don't care. Just because the association fee. You put a fence up that they didn't like. You know what I'm saying? Hey, and I've seen them go in. It didn't matter about the rent. Because once they get you in that territory,
What
they
if
do
you
their
happen to like a house that's in a HOA? Because I don't live in a, and I have always refused to live in a HOA. But what if you buy a house and it's in an HOA because you like it? Is there any way to get out of that?
Well, the association normally has a contract with the landlord, Landlord. The house on the property, on the land, brings value to the land. That's what they're recycling. against the property. And so the association, unless you don't want to be a part of the association and they agree, and you have a homeowner association, but the mortgage company or the trustee, or is it a private owner? But usually if they have an association and the HOA, they normally have a contract with the builders or whatever in that area. So a lot of times I couldn't answer that.
And then they attach you into it, I guess, when you buy somehow.
Yeah, but you gonna sign some paper somewhere concerning it unless you just refuse to. Period. But
If they want to sell a house, we'll get it. If they don't, then they will.
yeah. And they'll ask you. Some people they sell the associations that we want to make sure that the areas they need, everybody cut their grass on time, trim their bushes. Don't come out here and build another part that's just bigger than neighborhood and all that kind of stuff. Just depends on what their contract is. Homeowner association, what they request and what they don't. That's it. But other than that, I don't care what the case may be. If you have a problem, you can reopen that up and go back and deal with that issue. Because you always have the truth. It's kind of like discovery. When did you come into the knowledge that I could contest it? You see what I'm saying? If you didn't know, you just didn't know. But if you go back and you, like I said, nunc-pro-tunc, just Google the word nunc-pro-tunc. Nunc-pro-tunc takes the beginning to now. Like, if I enter into a contract and you didn't give me a full disclosure, then I'm going to reserve my rights to do a nunc-pro-tunc and make a demand, because I canceled the contract and forfeit and said whatever we had or what I paid, I want it all back because you didn't give me a full disclosure. So you deceived me.
See, I have never understood why you can't make that process work with a mortgage, because it's all fraud.
Mortgage, again, has to deal with the accountant. You have to make that claim through the Treasury Department and the IRS. Yes. Remember that 1099A acquisition? It's going to show that we're the secured party, they're the debtors. They can't produce it.
1099.
It's called a 1099A/B. The B is abandonment. If you don't claim it and ask for it, and you walk away from the property, you abandon it.
Well, I'm not talking about even in being in foreclosure or anything. The loan in general is fraud.
Yes, so that's why it's here when you read this. This is what it's saying. You're absolutely right. I have actually the court document. You can pull it up. It has the case number in here. Yeah, it has it in here, and you can pull it up and look at it, and you'll see where they sued all the banks and stuff, and then they dismissed it, transferred it. One lady dismissed it, but what was they doing? It was like a discharge. They take jurisdiction and dismiss it, and then they can keep doing what they want to do. That's what they did. And you see it, you'll see it. They did it. What came out of it? They just not sued, dismissed it.
No money exchange.
Huh?
No money exchange.
No, this is now coming up now where they have signed a receiver that London lawsuit seeking return of $43 trillion to the U.S. Treasury. Now, why is that? Why you got to return $43 trillion back to the U.S. Treasury? Who was the injured party? The American people. Homeowners.
So why should they go back to the homeowners?
Huh?
Because no one's forcing their hand?
Yeah, but I'm going to show you something in lunch. There's two things I got in lunch. I'm going to tell you about how to deal with mortgage. I'm going to show you how to deal with the one we just filed. And who to serve. And you serve them, and then who to serve to enforce it. But when you do that, then and you keep it private and confidential, you'll get your results that you're looking for.
Whatever it is.
Whatever it is. Because it was all done under a foreign exception.
So that means I can get Journey out of jail, I can.
Yeah, I'm gonna show you how it is. It'll work, and the way you do it, and how you do it, and you'll see, because all they've been held under foreign contracts. That's it. There's some things that you say, do, keep it private, confidential. That's it. Because if not, you can go straight to district state. Remember, it's in the matter of his estate. You, as a friend or a relative, mom, or aunt,
Friend.
or whatever, a friend, you have an interest in his estate.
Yeah, I have powers of attorney.
Oh yeah. I tell you what, when you do that as a responsible party, and you can also take that and fill out as 56 and 8822B. And now you are saying you're taking on responsible fiduciary interest in that account. See the difference? And that's what I say. If you take care of the accounting, all this will fall into play. It's just taking care of the accounting. They don't care about nothing else but the
You got to
accounting.
do that first, Social Security part first.
You won't, well, what I've done in situations where I've had to do something quickly, or they've had to do something quickly, like later here I met, like I say, they was finna put the pastor out the home, and they went to court, JP court, and the judge said, well, if you go ahead and pay this and y'all have an agreement, then I don't want to see y'all no more. Well, he ended up paying the money, and they had him sign the agreement, but he went back and went to court and didn't tell the judge he had an agreement, and got a judgment, and he told him not to come to court. And so when they called me yesterday and said, hey, you know, they're going to put him out, they put a 24-hour notice, blah, 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 blah. And so the only thing I tell them, go back to the court and tell them the clerk, I want to review immediately. And I have an agreement. Go to the clerk of the
Ask for a-
JP court and ask for a bill review. Bill review, independent. So what they did, they set a hearing today. That was day for yesterday. They set a hearing at 10 o'clock. And when they set the hearing at 10 o'clock, they went in and the judge said, listen, told the guy, hey, you going to sign this release or withdraw the judgment? And the guy said, no. He said, well, the judge said, no, I'm seeing the release. You signed the agreement and took the money. Well, no, The judge said, well, huh. He said, no, I want a writ. The judge said, no, I'm not going to allow you to get a writ issued because you entered into an agreement. Then the judge told him, file your appeal. File an appeal. Because the judge couldn't even set it down. It was already done. So the judge said, the only way I know is for you to file an appeal. So when you file an appeal, I said, file an appeal. Then sue him Friday. Sue the landlord Friday. File an application. And you know what's going to be the grounds of your application and your judgment? Is the agreement. Everything outside the agreement became what? Fraud. Misrepresentation. Fraud. Then make them pay a couple of $200,000 for creating a deceptive trade practice where you was going to injure me, knowing that we had an agreement. Ain't that something? You were still using the system, so you not only lied to the court, but you violated the agreement. Ain't that something? And that's considered as a fraudulent act. So make them pay your money now. Because he did it. You didn't. And the judge said, "You're not going to take back the judgment?" No. I want a writ of possession. They said, "No, I'm not going to allow you this." So the only way the judge could stop him was tell them to appeal it. And I said, "Go ahead and appeal it. Go review." But I already, if I did that and did the paperwork, I would have said just do a bill of review in writing. And when you do a bill of review, you become the plaintiff, they become the defendant. Then your agreement supports the bill of review, and the bill of review is an attack on the judgment. See the difference? It's an attack on the judgment. Now, when they have already issued a writ, I told her to say, do the bill of review, and I want the writ recalled. Come to find out, there was no writ. So how is she put a 24-hour notice and we're going to execute a writ in 24 hours when there was no writ issued?
When they would leave.
That was another lie. That's absolutely right. See, the truth is going to liberate us and set us free every time. We just got to administer the truth. You know, you don't want to get into...
And stuff. Who would have known that you could recall a writ? I didn't know that.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. It's always issued by the clerk. And if I issue that clerk an affidavit and tell the clerk that I want her to issue a writ and serve it up on the sheriff for enforcement or any forceful agency to enforce my affidavit, you can get it done.
Huh.
Yeah, that affidavit is judgment.
So that means like this guy didn't pay me, I worked for him and he didn't pay me money. He didn't pay me what he, in a contract.
Right.
He said he was going to pay me $11,000 if I did this,
That's right.
and he didn't. So I've already served him twice, so I can actually force him to pay me
What you do, but see, you served him how?
with certified mail affidavits.
Okay, now just move for summary for
Huh?
application supported by an affidavit for a judgment, a determination, and then submit your order. Judge don't sign it, then attach a copy of affidavit showing that you served him twice and he didn't respond. Therefore, he's in agreement to your claim. He's already in default outside the court, so that's why you just moving for a determination. It's an application. He's a respondent, but it's an application supported by, and it's in the matter of your estate. And you filing it as a responsible party and holding the course. Now the judge becomes an administrative judge.
How do I get myself in the door? This is the part that I get confused. What do I do?
Well, if I look at you bring your notices that you send him. Did you tell him, this is what you owe me? Did you add any damages in there or anything?
I didn't add damages in there to the letter. I was getting ready to serve him one last time. I mean, send him an affidavit one last time.
No, this time put damages in there.
What should my damages be?
To be honest with you, well, I don't know the middle English. I don't know how long ago since he was supposed to pay you.
He was supposed to pay me February 19, so it's been a little over a year.
But I'll be honest with you, if you put $100,000 in there for damages, if he don't contest that affidavit, he's in agreement.
That's how much you would put in there?
Yes.
Give her all the anger and all that stuff.
Yes.
All that stuff he's put you through. Just
Yes.
Come on now.
Middle language, who can give,
Violate that contract.
who can justify your middle language but you?
It'd be nice
That's
if you-
exactly
Well,
right.
and then all the times of, it cut me short back then from paying bills and
Yeah,
that's
all that middle language. Yeah, yeah. Put it in there and serve and say you got 72 hours now to contest this affidavit or pay me in 72 hours. If he don't ready. He's in agreement. He's in agreement. It's like a default.
Yes. And this
So
is
now I'm just going in the matter of my estate, file an application supported by an affidavit for a determination of judgment. And it's going to be based on the fact that he's already was properly notified. He was given an opportunity. He didn't do it. He's in agreement like a default. It's called tacit law, T-A-C-I-T.
tacit law.
It attaches that he's in agreement
Right.
to your document. Mm-hmm.
Tacit agreement. Yeah.
Right. And then, I don't know, if you send a certified mail, you put your number on the document. If you didn't, then you attach your green
did.
card. Okay. Well, if you did, that's proof. And you attach your green card.
Yeah, I might not have gotten the green card back, but I got some stuff
But you can go
back.
online. If you
Yeah,
got
and that's
the
what I
number-
printed out, was the
Yeah,
stuff
you print it
online.
out, put it online, and just print it. United States Postal Service.
I did that.
And print it, and boom, it tells you exactly sign it, who signed it, boom, boom, boom. A lot of times I do overnight stuff, certified return receipt overnight, and I still do a priority, and I do a green card, so they have to sign for it.
I always do a green card too, but they don't know, I don't always get them back.
Oh, you don't? But you go online and look it up, so you got
They
it.
print it out.
Yeah, they're keeping you from getting that wet signature. Yeah, but what you do when you don't get the green card back, file with the postmaster for fraud, tampering with the mail. I done did that with the county in Dallas, old Warren, and they sent certified mail and they couldn't find it, and so I went up there to John. I said, listen, I said, hey, I don't know where the green card is in there. They sent it out, but I'm finna go file a complaint with the postmaster. Next day it popped up. Yeah.
Well, yeah, because I've actually gone before, I've called the post office before. Next thing I know, lo and behold, it shows up in my mail.
There you go. See there? And they'll hold it because they don't want you to get that red signature. Somebody had to sign for it. And sometimes I'll put up front the name, and I'll put it's agent, assignees, associates, at all. So I don't care if Mickey Mouse signed for it, Rover signed for it. You know, I got it. Hey, he put his paw on there.
It means I got it.
Like, right,
That's
so
where it was going.
that's it. So hey, if that address, so the key is that it brings into accountability. And anytime somebody tells you something on the phone, you say, hey, would you mind sending that to me in writing? And they go, well, how about I write what you just told me and send you a certified copy? You see the whole conversation change. Remember, writing, Matthew 4, when Christ kept the devil to what was what? Written. Written means accountability. And I tell them, if you're going to tell me something that you're not willing to put in writing and sign it, then anything you say to me is a lie. But if you're willing to put it in writing and sign off on it, I can hold you accountable. You're good to go. Because if you lying to me, I have something to hold you accountable instead of sending me around in Marbury Bush.
I know you're getting tired. I know you're
Oh,
tired.
where?
How long are you going to stay with us? I've got something.
Oh, okay. No, I just show because see, the reason I came here to answer questions, but you just once you get the fundamental structure, you can apply to everything. And that's what you need to understand. You understand who you're dealing with. You understand how to hold them accountable without being negative, okay? And just keep it simple, okay? And when you do that, you'll see the results. Because I'm not gonna worry about how you're gonna respond or nothing. I'm just gonna go through my process. You know what I'm saying? If I go through my process, then I'm gonna get what I want. You see where I'm coming from? I'm gonna get the relief I'm looking for. So whether you respond or not, it don't matter.
Help me to just get started and
Right. And that's what I'm gonna show you on that there, okay? And that's why I just came to really kind of give you live explanations.
Do you need to stay in
concern.
Canada overnight?
Huh?
Do you need to stay in Canada overnight? We can get you home.
Yeah. But once you get it,
Get your homework done.
and once you get it, I guarantee you're going to be able to apply it to anything. And basically what you're doing, you exercise your administrative remedy. You see where I'm coming from? So they say, is this a legal matter?
Your
No, I'm
point is,
exercising my
on those
administrative
things I'm
remedy.
going back on,
I don't
they
need
didn't
an
have
attorney
enough law.
until I finish my
That's your
administrative remedy.
No, I get that.
See what I'm saying?
No, I mean when I'm doing
You
this,
don't be threatening them because you
going
don't know
back
what you're
10
talking
years
about.
ago. when
That's-
I fought-
You don't threaten them or anything.
No.
You just do all that.
No.
Just remind them.
I'm gonna be real nice and I'm gonna
Because they
smile and I've had Beth Miller,
They're
she
going to be
was
scared of you. 'Cause
probate judge. She said,
We
you
know
know,
they
I've been
don't
to
have
probate
enough.
court 7 times
They
and
haven't
3.
followed their road.
And one of the new ladies said, she said, oh, Mr. Brooks, he's real nice. She
That's
said,
what-
yeah, he nice, but don't let it fool you. He up to something.
And that's the full.
He
that's
up
all
to
I need is
something.
that one
But
thing.
what it is, I overwhelm them with kindness. But at the same token, anything ran, boom, hey, you see this? And I've had to do, call people, how you get this phone number? But the beautiful thing is, you love them up with kindness, but you exercise the truth. And you know what? I don't have to be mad at you to exercise truth.
Right. That's the beauty of it.
They're gonna know you're not the new kid on the block.
No. He's nice, but
Well, I don't like to be mad at anybody. I don't like to get angry at anybody. I just want to take care of business.
going to take care of business,
Get
right?
done with it.
Right. And once you got your fundamental basics, you can apply to anything.
That's what I want to learn.
Anything. And once you get it, you don't say, no, I know my process. You just follow your process and watch them unfold and come to the table. I'm sorry.
I just want to see, Jerry, if I have one success